Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
All right, this report, the final report in the history of Infinity Sports Network, is presented by Progressive Commercial Insurance, protecting your business vehicles 24/7. See if you can save at progressivecommercial.com. And we start with Sunday Night Football. The Bears were leading the 49ers 38-35 in the fourth quarter.
Purdy drops back. Purdy steps up. Purdy throws middle. There's Jennings. He's got it. Inside the 20, the 10. He's gone! Touchdown! 49ers back in front.
That was the call on 49ers radio. Niners beat the Bears 42-38. Brock Purdy threw for 303 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also had 2 touchdown runs. Elsewhere, the Eagles beat the Bills 13-12, and that clinched a AFC East title for the Patriots, who crushed the Jets 42-10. The Giants over the Raiders 34-10. Saints beat the Titans 34-26. Dolphins 20, Bucks 17. The Bengals over the Cardinals 37-14. The Browns topped the Steelers 13-6. Jaguars over the Colts 23-17. The Seahawks beat the Panthers 27-10. NBA, the Clippers over the Pistons 112-99. The Wizards beat the Grizzlies 116-112. Thunder over the Sixers 129-104. In overtime, Raptors 141, Warriors 127. Blazers over the Celtics 114-108. As you all know, Infinity Sports Network comes to an end tonight. This is the final sports update. I had the honor of doing the first sports update January 2nd, 2013. And the last 13 years have been amazing, being part of this network from the very beginning to the very end. So on behalf of all the anchors who have ever sat in this chair at this microphone, thank you for listening. I'm Peter Schwartz.
Call the Infinity Sports Network anytime. 888-710-4ISN. That's 888-710-4476. You're in the right place. The Infinity Sports Network. Say not to kick someone when they're down, but aren't some people just asking for it?
Literally, they talk about everything he does. It's insane. It's almost like no one else even exists in the NFL. I'm not a fan of watching a pitcher come up and stand there. It's like an automatic out. Pitchers don't hit. I'd rather see guys hit home runs and drive in runs than watch pitchers stand there and swing and miss at everything. This is awesome to me that the golf course is too hard for the best in the world. I don't want to watch guys shoot 20 under in golf tournaments. What the hell is the fun in that?
This is Pharrell on the bench.
Life. So, a couple things. I was saying about it before. If you haven't checked out, I don't care what they think of this either. If you haven't checked out my Pharrell and the Prophet podcast, you lose, because it is filthy and it is funny. And I do it with this dude, Mickey Faust, the Prophet. He's a freak. Greatest Jew I ever met in my life, besides you, Shep, and Schwartzy over here. This guy's the craziest, funniest dude you ever met in your life. It is amazing. Check it out at profitable.tv. It's PROPHETABLE.tv. And you know we do tons of gambling on there and other illicit things. We're awful human beings. I think you'll dig it. Everyone that watches it loves it. It's kick-ass. I think you'll dig it. Check it out. It's Pharrell and the Prophet on profitable.tv. And we do 3 shows a week, and I do 4 Pharrell Unplugs a week. So 7 days a week there's shows, and they're pretty kick-ass. People love them. So, and they all love that we have gambling problems. You know, I was talking to Pete about all these radio stations and all these shows talk about, betting too much. I've been talking about sports betting for 41 years. Do you remember they used to treat me like a pedophile? I talk so much sports gambling. So we do tons of betting on the show and free action. Obviously, I still have the pay picks that I do. And if you don't like it, tell your mother. What else, Chef, did you want to talk about? You said you wanted to, because I got people I want to talk to here. Your old friend, the Wicker Man.
I'll make this very quick.
Quick.
These will be the last words I say. First of all,
Pete's speech was very emotional. My nose is running.
So thank you to Evan Harkin, Nick Theodora on the other side. Thank you to Chris Olivero, Ryan Hurley, and the backbone of this network, CBS Sports Radio, Infinity Sports Network, David Marinick, Pete Schwartz, unbelievable job per usual. To Scott Farrell.
I was really worried about you crying yesterday on the air. Honestly, my wife played it for me, and I was in shambles.
God, I'm not gonna cry here, but if I can just get sentimental for 30 seconds.
Does your dad know you're still crying? You're 40 years old.
Thank you, Farrell. So listen,
I don't cry ever. I'm a man. I'm 40.
In all seriousness, you listen to Farrell, you don't know what to make of it at first because you've never heard anything like it in your life. The fact that he has been gone for 6 years. And the very top of this profession, known as the architect, Chris Olivero, David Marinick, want to bring you back for the last show. Says all you need to know about this man's future and the talent and
I have no future at all.
And the legacy that he leaves behind and what he can still do in this industry, in this game. And the last thing I want to say to you is in life, we all need someone to believe in us. We all need someone to give us an opportunity, to give us the chance. You did that from day one. Thank you. You did that from day one.
Quitter.
And I appreciate what you've done for me and catapulting me and giving me the launch.
You had so much game, and then you became a quitter. You're in the quitter club.
I can tell this is landing. Yes.
And even young Chop. You and Chop can hang out, go on a picnic. You could bring a little basket, have a little one of those red and white. Didn't Patino sleep with some chick on one of those? Like in an Italian restaurant, get one of those tablecloths. You could bring a little glass of wine, and you could get some cheese, a little feta.
Yeah. Well, Pharrell, the last thing I'll say is, man, you mean everything to me. You meant a lot to my career, and you've not just done that for me. You've done that for countless others. It takes a real man and a real secure host to be able to step back and give other people space and a platform. You did that every single step of the way for me. I love you, and I hope you're in this industry for another 15, 20 years.
I'm going to cry.
I doubt it.
I'm going to cry.
I think I'll be dead before that. Make sure you tell, I love Mitch Lawrence, and tell Frank Isola he's soft, and he can't stop me either when you're over there at NBA Radio. And tell Spitz he owes me money, even if he doesn't. Say, Pharrell said you owe him money.
Because Spitz is going to laugh at that. He laughs at everything.
Spitz.
He's the best.
I talked to Spitz the other day. In fact, I talked to all the powerful people in radio that think the new people made all kinds of mistakes not bringing me around, and you, Shep, and Schwartzy here.
Well, Pharrell, thank you for everything.
I wish ill will on those people for the remainder of their days.
Eric Spitz hired me twice, at the Fan and over here.
Eric fired me 7 times.
I wish Eric would hire me at the other place.
I wish ill will on all of those people.
He's leaving it up to somebody else who doesn't like me.
In fact, I hope that Cinderella gives them chlamydia. Are we on the air?
Yeah.
I believe so. Yes.
All right, real quick. It's the Wicker Man. It's inside the Magada, beautiful land.
What up?
Las Vegas, baby.
Coming at you live from Club Wick.
What's up, buddy?
What's up, man? Hey, I got a story about Shep. Back in the day, you went up to your room. This is at the Excalibur.
Right.
And Shep's like...
The biggest dump in Vegas.
Yeah, it was. Or is.
What a dump.
Asking me advice.
It's such a dump. When I was in the lobby drinking, I pretended like I was at the Four Seasons. I just pictured 20 feet around me, and I said, I love the Four Seasons, even though I was in that hellhole. I've had more fun in a prison.
Was it Excalibur when I dropped that?
Yeah, that wasn't good. I'll never forget that producer's face. It was drugs that he dropped, actually, but they weren't mine. Anyway, so what did you want to say about Shep? What's the story about Shep?
Shep was asking me advice.
Shep, are you doing 8 balls again?
No. Wait, but I'm not doing 8 balls.
Quitter.
He was going to go back to teaching at one point.
Oh, and he was a great teacher.
Yeah, I don't remember the advice they gave you.
I think I should be a teacher. I think I should be Professor Farrell. Who doesn't agree with that? I think it's true. All right, Wicker Man, I got to run because I'm out of time. You lose. Fred in Montana, really quick. We got to get everybody in really quick. Fred. Hey, Freddie. How you doing, buddy?
All right, Fred's not there.
Fail. Fred, you are a failure. Like Shep, you're a quitter.
Oatmeal, Michigan.
And
Go
you
ahead.
failed, and he was a kid, and he had his chance. You had your chance, and you slipped and fell like Nick did tonight in the studio.
Oatmeal from Michigan.
What's up,
Scotty,
buddy?
yes. Where in the hell you been, Scotty?
Prison.
Listen. Hold on. Listen, I missed you. Where in the hell you been?
I've been
I don't have a
working
lot
at
of
the
different
Pancake
radio outlets
Griddle.
to listen to you, but I missed you, and this is the first time I'm hearing you in like maybe years.
I know.
That Shepherd guy, he filled in with you. The Shepherd, he's great. And
Shepherd's Pie's great. And the reason why you haven't seen me in so many years is that my television career was a complete failure. Some guy told me the other day it's because you were on streaming television. I said I was streaming the other night at the WFAN studios when I got off the air after having that tortilla soup. Shake it, ooh, shake it, ooh, shake it, ooh. Anyway, best of luck to everybody moving forward. It's great coming back tonight to do the last show on Infinity Sports Network. Schwartzy, I love you. Shep, I love you. I know I'll be seeing you again soon. You need to come see my family because they hate you now because you never come around anymore. You're a quitter. God bless everybody. Happy New Year. David Myernick, thanks. Chris Olivero, don't be scared. Tuesday's going to be even bigger than this on WFAN.
This is Brian Weber. Welcome to the start of a new era with the launch of Westwood One Sports, the new 24/7 network. We hope will be your go-to destination to be entertained and informed with compelling sports talk. That philosophy undeniably will be on display when Drake Toll kicks off the morning show coming up at 6 Eastern. On this program, it's going to be wall-to-wall football, as you heard on Westwood One Sports. The 49ers outlasted the Bears in a wild shootout. And despite a slew of injuries, somehow, someway, the 49ers have a shot at the NFC West division title and the top seed if they can beat the Seahawks next week in Santa Clara. It's a winner-take-all scenario on a short week. The league just announcing that game will be played on Saturday night. We also have to go through all the other marquee matchups, including a dramatic conclusion in Western New York. The Bills and Eagles came down to the wire. We'll run through the playoff picture that has come much more into focus, and just one guest along the way coming up in 40 minutes as I want to do traffic and weather together. I'm Brian Weber here on Westwood One Sports. We'll take you across the NFL with a good friend of mine and former broadcast partner. It is Nick Ferguson, the former NFL safety, spent a decade in the league playing for the Jets, Texans, and the Broncos. He's now based in Denver and covers the Broncos for KOA Radio in the Mile High City. Anytime you have the glorious opportunity to pitch in as a talk show host, this was beaten into my head decades ago. I am older than hopefully my enthusiastic delivery would suggest, although I'm trying to fit in with the young dynamic here on Westwood One Sports. What is the topic? I got to grab you, especially with a myriad of options now, with everything out there in the world of sports and entertainment. So, coming off an incredibly unpredictable game that was filled with twists and turns between the 49ers and the Bears. If I was trying to recap this game, I'd go all the way up to 6 Eastern. I'd be co-hosting the morning show, but I'm not ready for that kind of assignment. In terms of the overall key takeaways, from my perspective, it comes down to this. Once more, the 49ers overcoming injuries. A reminder, it was a game-time decision that became official, and things were trending in that direction all week after George Kittle went down with the ankle injury Monday night in that victory over the Colts. Kittle unable to go, and then early in the game, prior to halftime, business end of the first quarter, in fact, as I try to discern my illegible handwriting, it's very good. No simulcast for this shift. At some point, you can see, if we take you behind the scenes and get that curtain unveiled, how many notes it takes for me to prop up compelling sports talk radio. If you write it down, you remember it. I, in my chicken scratch, wrote down Trent Williams left first quarter. Well, even if you're a casual fan, you know that Williams is the heart and soul of that offensive line, their best offensive tackle. So you think another obstacle for San Francisco to overcome, and the game could not have started any worse for Brock Purdy. I'm Brian Weber on Westwood One Sports. Coming up in just over 15 minutes, we'll spotlight the Bills and the Eagles. Is it time to have much more belief in the reigning Super Bowl champs after they hung on for dear life, but were able to finalize against Buffalo? Brock Purdy is not a quarterback that I fully trust. Now, I sound like a fool for telling you that, coming off his second consecutive game in which he accounted for 5 touchdowns. You'll recall he threw the career-high 5 touchdown passes on Monday night. And in this compelling, absolute showcase of offensive fireworks with Kyle Shanahan, Ben Johnson in their bag with the play calling, Purdy was sensational in high-leverage situations. 3 passing touchdowns, 2 more on the ground. So back-to-back 5 touchdown games. Hasn't happened for a quarterback since Russell Wilson 5 years ago. But nothing at the very start of the game, in fact, the very first play for the 49ers, would have foreshadowed that kind of monster performance, because Purdy threw a pick 6, and you figured, if you're a 49er fan, specifically in primetime, you're thinking Purdy may be imploding again. You don't have to go that far back in your memory bank. Just go back to November, Monday Night Football against the Panthers, 3 interceptions. I was working on Christmas night a couple of years ago, the game that was so hyped between the Ravens and the Niners, and Purdy couldn't have been worse that evening, 4 interceptions. So, if you have more objectivity than yours truly, because I've been trotting out the argument that I believe Jeff Garcia is a superior quarterback to Brock Purdy, there's a thermonuclear take that's looking dumber and dumber by the week. You figure San Francisco, without their playmaking tight end, and as Mike Golick pointed out on our Westwood One Sports broadcast, in addition to everything that Kittle's responsible for, hauling in passes and scoring touchdowns, he is instrumental in the ground game as well. He's a tremendous blocker. So no Kittle there. Williams comes off the field. Before you can say, welcome to Sunday Night Football, it's already 7-0 Chicago. And it feels like over the course of this season, every bounce had been going the Bears' way. Case in point, that pick 6 came on a carom. So if you are a Niner fan, I can't blame you if you felt like, okay, it's been a good year. I'm not saying that you waved the white flag 15 seconds in the game, but you figured this might not be our night. Well, credit the tenacity and the resolve of the 49ers, because they didn't blink. And as I mentioned, if I went through every bit of scoring minutia, it would take us the better part of 6 hours. Here's one overall summation. Teams had combined for 6 touchdowns with 12 minutes to go in the second quarter. If you didn't stay to the very end, and I realize that many of you have to get up early to go to work, if you have to go to work, and it's a little-known FCC bylaw, as a sports talk show host in the middle of the evening, I have the authorization to tell you you can mail it in tomorrow. After all, it's the holidays. So if you're feeling like that game was too good to go to bed, stay up with me. I'm Brian Weber in the chair, and with the responsibility that I take very seriously to turn on the lights here at Westwood One Sports. It is day one of a new era. If you didn't hang around to the end of the game, it came down to, much like the highly tension-filled conclusion to the matchup between the Bills and the Eagles, it came down to the very last play, with San Francisco leading 42-38, 4 seconds left. 15 things had to happen on the Bears' drive just to put them in this position with a goal-to-go situation. As time came off the clock, Caleb Williams rolling and scrambling. As a longtime Niner fan, when I used to root for teams, now, of course, I keep it thoroughly objective, part of my brain was saying, oh my goodness, this is Montana rolling out for the catch in a very different situation, of course. Williams buying time, finally throws to the end zone. It is incomplete, and the Niners survive and advance. So the injury aspect is not going away, and it's just, in many ways, mind-boggling that the Niners are in this position, but it comes down to a few key performers remaining healthy. And who is more impactful? We can talk about value. In fact, we'll get into the MVP conversation later in the program, because if you had a vote and I had a vote and we don't, couldn't I make a case if I was trying to sway you one way or the other with conventional wisdom, especially from the Sharpies in Las Vegas, that Matthew Stafford has already sewn up the MVP award? Who's more valuable right now than Drake May? He was insanely locked in. 5 touchdown passes in that beatdown of the Jets, and he did it in just over 3 quarters. But if we're going to use that word value, think about the value of Christian McCaffrey as it came together again tonight. So even without Kittle, Purdy was able to feed his wide receivers and tight ends who were healthy, and Kyle Shanahan is a brilliant play caller. I don't want him necessarily calling the plays when, for example, you have a 28-3 lead in the Super Bowl or a 20-10 advantage when you're head coach of the 49ers. You know where I'm going. But Shanahan is a brilliant offensive mind, and he had a steady diet of McCaffrey, who ran for $140, and the 49ers had an answer to the Bears' high-octane offense every step of the way. So there's the injury element for San Francisco. Somehow they keep solving these riddles in front of them, and that speaks to the level of connectivity on this team and just how astute Kyle Shanahan is. I'm Brian Weber. I appreciate the company on this marquee day here on Westwood One Sports, the launch of our brand new network. Coming up now in just over 10 minutes, we'll make the move to the game that required a lot of Bills fans needing a welfare check. We'll talk about the decision-making process for Buffalo to go for 2 at the end. That's coming up. And then in just over 30 minutes, we'll be joined by Nick Ferguson, the former NFL safety, get his expert analysis on all of the games that mattered today, and look forward to Monday Night Football between the Rams and the Falcons. You can hear it, of course, here on Westwood One Sports. In addition to the Niner injury obstacle they continue to overcome, how come the Bears can't play any defense? Now, that's a rhetorical question, and I realize that you can get bogged down in stats and you can massage them any way you want, and that's not the type of audio content I like to create. I'm not good at math. I should not do your taxes, nor do I do my own. But I do follow this league very closely. If you have any idea who I am, maybe it's because I helped to launch the morning show at NFL Network. If you need a launch in the middle of the night, call Brian Weber. Just hit the case of emergency glass and I jump out. Watching the Bears over the last couple years, you could see the malpractice of coaching, but you knew that the front office and GM Ryan Poles had invested hundreds of millions of dollars in defensive talent. So the whole point was to upgrade the defense, to give Caleb Williams a chance before they made the inspired hire of getting Ben Johnson. And how about Ben's decision-making process? Said no to Washington, waited another year in Detroit. We saw again, and I don't want to go all the way back to Christmas Day, but we saw how much the Lions miss Ben in that absolute debacle against the Vikings. Chicago has been able to hang in this season with epic comeback after epic comeback and the most opportunistic defense in all of football, as we saw on the very first play when they came up with the pick 6, courtesy of Brock Purdy, leading the NFL in takeaways and interceptions, but they can't stop anybody. And I'm not trying to bash one of the best stories in all of football, because I believe in the power of coaching. And coming up in the next hour of the program, we'll spotlight situations like what Liam Cohen is doing with Trevor Lawrence and other key examples of the impact that a coach who knows what he's doing can make. Still, Ben Johnson largely leaves the defense to be its own silo, something's got to be fixed. Now, you could say to me, hey, loud guy, you can say it as loud as you want. We only have one more game of the regular season. How are they going to find that switch and flip it? I don't have the answer, but it's been a huge issue all season long, and it's been masked. It's had the cologne of Chicago having the best run of comebacks since the merger. In fact, had they won this game tonight, losing to the 49ers 42-38, it would have been their 7th comeback in which they trailed by 2. That's the most we've ever seen since 1970. So if you're a Bears fan, rejoice in the fact that you got the gift from the Packers losing to the Ravens on Saturday night. That gave you the division. I know there was still the shot at the top seed. At this point, you should claim the victories where they are. And heading into the postseason, I think you have one of the top 3 tandems of quarterbacks and head coaches in all of football. But the question becomes, and I'll throw it out there on social media, you can hit me up on the X platform, BW Weber with 2 Bs. Are the Bears going to have to win every game 35-32 if they're going to make a legitimate run to the Super Bowl? Or could tonight be evidence that you just can't rely on that formula every Sunday? Because ultimately, when you go for that loaded gun, sometimes you fire blanks, and that was the case tonight as Williams was superhuman once more down the stretch. 330 passing yards, clean sheet. He wasn't sacked, no picks, but fell just short on the game's final play. I'm Brian Weber, having an absolute blast with you, and I really do appreciate the opportunity to be the first voice you're hearing here on Westwood One Sports. Coming up in 25 minutes, we'll expand the conversation, take you around the NFL with Nick Ferguson, the former NFL safety. Coming up, I've been giving you a hint, if you had other things going on a busy NFL Sunday, just how incredible the finish was between the Bills and the Eagles. Did Sean McDermott make the right call going for 2 and the win? Much more to get to as we roll on, talking plenty NFL and some college football along the way as well. I'm Brian Weber here on Westwood One Sports.
Every team, every player, every story, every angle. This is Westwood One Sports. The NFL is on Westwood One. Rams, Falcons, Monday Night Football. Tonight on many of these same Westwood One stations.
This is Westwood One Sports.
I'm going to hit the men's